Round 2, we'll play first. And we're going to accept this hand, yes. Turn 3 removal creature is okay, but we do have a solid 5-drop in our hand, and this hand could pan out okay for us. What's interesting is Fleshback Marauder is not actually that great for our deck because we have double suppression bonds. Something I probably should have realized. But I guess we have Oromancer, so it's a way to get back suppression bonds. I think there's a pretty good chance we're casting Fleshback Marauder next turn if he has a creature. If not, maybe I do play... Alright, we're definitely casting Fleshback now. And Leaf Gilder is actually a pretty good card to hit. That's a great draw. Okay, this seems like a game where we're actually going to get an opportunity to do the things we want to do. So next turn, Blightcaster. Turn after that, Consecrated by Blood. He has an answer for Blightcaster. At least we have Oromancer to get back Consecrated by Blood. We've got the Patron of the Valiant, so we've got decent opportunity to do something with that. Another Leaf Gilder, okay. Alright, well, that's a thing. Alright, that's unfortunately a ridiculously powerful 5-drop. We do have Suppression Bonds, though, which would be an amazing draw here. Suppression Bonds, nope. Well, I think the play is... God, I don't know how I'm going to beat this. Guess we kill Leaf Gilder. So I think our only way to win this now is draw our way back into the game. But yeah, Outland Colossus seems like a pretty difficult card to beat. I basically am going to have to chump block it for the rest of the game or draw Suppression Bonds. That's basically... I guess Sentinel the Eternal Watch. Something potentially that could bring us back in the game. But we'd both have to draw that and the land, which seems a bit difficult. Alright, that's a scary card. Yeah, he can get trample now too. Yeah, that's pretty scary. I think the play next turn is Patron. There's a pretty good chance we're going to end up taking 18 damage over the next 2 turns, because I basically need to kill Somberwald Alpha with Consecrated by Blood next turn. Alright, Deadbridge Shaman is semi-legit draw, actually. So I guess the play is... I'm not going to kill the Empath. I think the play is Deadbridge Shaman, or I guess swing first. I mean, we have to keep pace here. I could do the Patron, actually. Let me think about that. Deadbridge Shaman offers a blocker to Outland Cloud. I actually have to check Somberwald Alpha quick. I suppose I can just see it here. Alright, so it costs him 2 mana to give Trample, so... I think that means we're going to cast the Patron. This brings him to 12. So my hope is, I guess he just plays Somberwald, hits us for 12, I guess. And then we're going to cast Consecrated by Blood, killing the alpha. Alright, this is actually not the worst. The problem is, yeah, that is a problem. Well, technically I can kill him. If he has Titanic Growth, we're just dead. Alright, so he's got Titanic Growth. That's a bummer. See, I could block this to buy my... Yeah. See, if I block that, there's just no way back in the game, I don't think. Because next turn he can just play Somber World Alpha and give Trample, and then I don't get to do Consecrated by Blood. That is such a huge bummer. So close to victory on that. All right, well, it's going to be a tough card to beat. I don't know what to say. I'm not digging this draft so far, I'll tell you that much. It's so unfortunate. Okay, let's do this again. All right, this hand requires lands, but I believe it's a keep. We have quite a few 2-drops. Two drops and lands, basically all this hand needs. All right, land I'll take. Land does something. I think we're just going to be dropping Fleshbag Marauder, as per usual. All right, well, at least we hit a pretty awesome target for it. So now we really want land. If we don't get land, at least we get to do Fetid Imp. No plays is good. Land, please. Very good. All right, let's drop the Blightcaster. Fetid Imp actually is an out to that Renown guy too, which is kind of funny. So I actually had an out. Maybe it would have been wiser to block the... Yeah. But then I would have just thrown my patron away. I feel like it just... Yeah, I guess I should have thrown my guy in front of it. I mean, I knew he had the Titanic Growth, so it just seemed correct. All right. If I draw a black mana... Killing Somber World is huge. All right, it's a pretty unfortunate draw in every way, shape, or form since I can't play it. I can't use Fetid Imp's ability. But it's not like we're out of it yet, so that's good news. It's just I'm not doing exactly what I want to do right now. Our color and tint spells have been wrecking me this whole draft so far, unfortunately. So I'm going to take damage here, which I don't want to do. But I'm definitely not wanting to trade my Blightcaster for a Somber World Alpha either. I mean, at this point I can't trade, but I meant on my attacks. I didn't want to trade either. So hoping he doesn't have huge dude. I guess even if he does, I've got Fetid Imp, but wow, Zendikar's Royal is really good too. All right, not the draw I wanted exactly, but draw I'll take. Not leaving Fetid Imp back. We absolutely need the Fetid Imp for enormous dude. So at least we can crack back for 3 damage and we play a nice threat. Our opponent's Zendikar's Royal could be a problem, but if we're at least we're 1 land away from Sentinel too, and he's highly motivated to use a removal spell on Patron, I would say, since it's a big threat. It can't block his Somber World Alpha without trading, and it's not a trade I want to do. But the problem is Summerworld Alpha is pretty awesome with his Zendikar's Royal, but we're a black mana away from just taking out that Summerworld Alpha. All right, I mean, that's really bad for us, but better that than Sentinel the Eternal Watch is all I can say. Basically hoping he doesn't have more removal. If he doesn't, I feel like we're okay. All right, I mean, we have Sentinel now, so we still get to continue to swing. We basically have to hope he doesn't have removal. I would say he's pretty highly motivated to continue attacking into Sentinel and pretend like he's at least got Titanic Growth. Could have Might of the Masses here, which would be really bad for us. But I don't feel like keeping Blightcaster back is a good idea. All right. Didn't have Might, or if he did, I think if he had it, he would have used it. All right, so this is nice, but we basically are hoping he doesn't have removal. If he does, we basically have to draw a Swamp and start outvaluing him that way with Consecrated by Blood to kill the Alpha. All right, that's not great for us since he's likely getting another land drop here, and he's also likely digging up Pump Spell, but we do get to tap Somber World Alpha, which is good news. Okay, not too intimidated there. All right, so he's at least faking Titanic Growth, and I think it's in our best interest to at least pretend like he's got it. We like Swamp would just be so insane here. All right, that sucks, but it just happened, so there you go. At least he's tapped out, so I do get in with Sentinel. All right, got our Swamp, but just the turn too late. That's okay. So we go this. We get in for 7. And technically we kill him next turn. Actually, did I need to? No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I didn't need to leave back my Fetid Imp. I probably should have since I still had lethal with my Sentinel. Uh, I actually play Oromancer here. I don't get any value off of it, but I can save my Sentinel now, and I have a chump blocker. If it gets hairy here. All right. Well, that's actually okay. That's okay. We tap Fetid Imp, and we've got lethal. Let me think. Let me make sure. Even with Titanic Growth, I chump block Alpha. He Titanic Growths 2, 4, 8. Yeah, it's not enough. So tap Imp. He swings with everything. We chump block. Two, 4, 6, 10. Not enough. Do I play around some way to give Death Touch? It's his last card. I don't think because even if he has Titanic Growth, he could have Might of the Masses, and let me read that real quick. So we could technically give it plus, well, too big, but the problem is if he has Might of the Masses, I die if I don't block. So I think we do actually have to block. Like, if I just block with Oromancer and I don't block with Sentinel to try and save it from Might of the Masses, he just casts Might of the Masses and kills me, I think. Because it gets +6/+6, so that'd be 8, 10, 12. It'd be Xaxes lethal. So I think we actually do have to block and just really hope that our opponent has Titanic Growth and not, basically not Might of the Masses. The nice thing is, I can survive Titanic Growth. And I don't, my guy doesn't die to Might of the Masses either. Like, I have to sacrifice my 2 guys, but yeah, we survived Titanic Growth, which is pretty important here. And I had to block here if he had Might of the Masses too, because otherwise it would be 3, 5, 7, plus another 6, which is 13. I mean, the good news is I let this resolve. I'm going to have to sacrifice these 2 to regenerate my guy. He's going to get to trample with the Somber World if he can remember, which means I'm going to take 4, 6, 8 damage. Have to regenerate my guy. He can trample now with the Somber World. I did, and well, Suppression Bomb is a good draw. So I did manage to win. But that was worst case scenario. So if I hadn't played that Oromancer, we wouldn't have been able to win that. A lot of things had to come together for us to make that work. Oh my God. That was stressful. Might of the Masses was the nightmare play, but thankfully it panned out for us. Our opponent's deck is good. I don't know what to say. Might of the Masses, he's got hard removal, multiple pieces. He's probably sideboarding in some enchantment removal, I imagine. I don't really have a side. Actually, now we bring in the Ascetic for the construct. Doesn't trade as well, but Ascetic for the Zyndakar's Royal seems absolutely necessary. All right, let's go to game 3. All right, this is definitely a keep. I mean, we have removal. We've got fixing. It's almost, I don't even know quite yet what we want to search up with the Evolving Wilds, but I kind of want to do it first turn, I guess. All right, well, at least that answers the question. So we search up our second swamp, and now we're at least completely fixed. Our closest creature is Charging Griffin, which is not great, but we do have the suppression bonds for the huge dude. I'm almost assuredly going to Reeve Soul a Leaf Gilder just to sort of slow down his plan. Okay. I don't necessarily need to Reeve Soul that since it's not like a highly efficient beater or anything. Like Reeve Soul definitely feels like something that could be more useful to us on a better beater. Granted, the Fetid Imp trades with our Charging Griffin, but I'll use Reeve Soul later on it if I have to. I feel like now it's just a high priority to kill a bigger threat than Fetid Imp because Fetid Imp only has this like on a very slow clock. I'd rather Reeve Soul the next threat. Trading a Charging Griffin for a Fetid Imp feels, I guess, okay. Okay, we're definitely Reeve Souling that. That's a legitimate Reeve Soul target, so I feel fine with that. Deadbridge Shaman, um, actually, we're going to go with Deadbridge Shaman here. If he uses removal on it, he has to discard. It's a great trade for his Shaman of the pack. It lets me save my Reeve Soul for like a Somberwald Alpha. So removal doesn't do a lot of good against it. Even like a combat trick to keep his guy alive, he still has to discard. It's a pretty punishing card all around. And it also lets me set up like a Scarring plus Reeve Soul play next turn, which I think is pretty decent. Okay, Read the Bones is pretty good for him actually. But I mean I'm still gonna snap block the shaman, I think. Okay. Now I can Reeve Soul his guy and this is actually pretty good. Granted, he can bust Might of the Masses in response, but I don't even think it's that good. I think I actually cast Infernal Scarring first. Because that way, he's highly unmotivated to block. And if he doesn't, I get in for a bunch of damage. If he does have a pump spell for Shaman to save it from Reeve Soul, he still uses that pump spell defensively rather than offensively. Okay, so now I think we Reeve Soul, see if he's got the pump. We get in for 5. Deadbird Shaman is pretty high value creature at the moment. It's 5 power. It draws, makes him discard. It lets us draw, makes him discard. We've got suppression bonds, like I said, for his crazy Reaver dude, or you know what I'm talking about, the 6/6 game winner dude. All right, I mean, all in all, seems decent for us. Kind of wish we had that Weight of the Underworld. There's a good draw. It's a really good draw, actually. Yeah, plus our opponent, well, it probably only gets a land, but I would say our value is still there, absolutely. Oh, and, I mean, we got an Undercity Troll out of his hand. That's pretty high value. Plus, our opponent potentially missed his land drop, even after the Read the Bones. All right, that's pretty surprising, actually. So let's drop a... I guess we do drop the Blightcaster. If he wants to use removal on it, it's a little bit of a bummer, but next turn we get either Suppression Bonds Ghoul or Charging Griffin Ghoul, both of which are good. He's pretty highly motivated to kill Blightcaster here. If he plays Ridiculous Dude, okay. Well, Suppression Bonds does not quite turn that off. I'm glad he attacks with the Imp. That's actually good for us. So now we get to go Griffin Ghoul, put out a couple threats. Ghoul is actually, and that's a good draw. Ghoul is actually a good, good kind of, not answer for Zendikar's Royal, but like way to sort of attack into it well. And having double suppression bonds is quite nice. It definitely doesn't feel right to use suppression bonds on the Imp. But I might, I guess, I mean, theoretically I can use it on an elemental to kill the Imp to let me get in with my, because I want to go creature here, definitely. Even though he could kill Blightcaster technically, and if he does, then I can't get the full value I want off of these suppression bonds, but he feels like now he's probably compelled to leave back Fetid Imp. All right, I mean, it's like decent value for him. Just a swamp, okay. So I have to presume he did not have a creature when he scryed. Or I don't know why he would need the land otherwise, just as like... Alright, so he did have the answer, but we're still in okay shape here. Not ideal shape, I'll grant you that. That's... I wish better. Yeah, the main issue here, I can't really attack profitably with Shambling Ghoul. He has one card left. I think I'd just swing Griffin and pass. Like, I could play Eyeblight Assassin, but what's kind of nice about Eyeblight Assassin in this spot is next turn if he leaves back Fetid Imp with the Death Touch, I can play Assassin as a means to attack into Fetid Imp again. By giving it -1/-1, it won't have Death Touch. And if he wants to use like a pump spell here to get in past my ghoul, I still feel okay. I kind of want to save these suppression bonds for like a big threat. Shambling Ghoul at least keeps the elementals at bay. If he wants to bust like a pump spell to get in, I'm still okay. Yeah, like busting a pump spell to kill our ghouls, not even that good for him. I've never seen that guy. It's good. Well, that's a legit. That's a legit suppression bonds target, I would say. Shadows of the Past. I do currently only have 2 creatures in the yard. No cards left in my opponent's hand. Trying to think of the best play here. I can go Eyeblight Assassin, -1/-1 here. Swing with Griffin. Well, play Shadows of the Past, swing with Griffin. I need 2 more creatures in my yard. Yeah, I think we go Assassin. -1/-1 to the Imp, so he's highly motivated to not block charging Griffin. We go Shadows now in case he does, for some reason, decide to chump block. He currently has 3 creatures in his yard, so this could deal us 4 damage. But I think I double block it and just hope he doesn't have Might of the Masses or Titanic Growth as a top deck. If he does, I get 2 creatures in the yard and he's still in trouble, because then I have Shadows of the Past. So double block Graveblade is what we're going to do here. He's not highly motivated, so we just block here. I think we do actually keep our Assassin. Despite the fact that it gets us another card in our yard, I don't think that's what I'm looking for. Marauder makes him sacrifice token, but it does actually put a card in our yard. I only have 6 lands, though. I don't really want to draw a land. I think we actually keep this. Like, getting us closer to Shadows, letting us scry 2, that's actually pretty good. Okay. It's acceptable. That was his, yeah. So now we just actually, Suppression Bonds, Fetid Imp. This is interesting. I mean, okay, it's still the right play, because then it makes it so Charging Griffin is just straight up lethal. Not this turn, but next turn. Obviously, the issue with that is now if I play Fleshback Marauder, he just sacks Fetid Imp. But having the means to just straight up kill him next turn just feels too good to like pass up on. Like he needed to top deck. Okay, honestly that was a good win. This was a tough match. Our opponent's deck was good. This guy's cool. I've never seen him before. It was a tough match. I'm glad that we could draw well enough to get back in that game. We got to look at a little bit of why Shadows of the Past is a good card. I'm glad that worked out. All right, we'll see you in round 3.